Wanted to do this live. Are Black women losing their legacy when they marry out? Because, when we talk about interracial dating, there are certain questions that I do think a lot of people outside of the BWE space, and I'm not just talking about, you know, Black men, I'm talking about in general, even other races of people. And there are also some Black women too that just have questions on, if all Black women, just in general, if all Black people date out and create, biracial children, what is going to happen to us, right? What's going to happen to the next generation Black woman, like the next young Black girl? Is she going to be biracial? So I've already addressed this question in previous lives. And the fact of the matter is, particularly for Black women, swirling and divesting, these movements are not popular amongst majority of Black women. Majority of people marry within their race, y'all. Rather you agree with that or not, it just is what it is. Not simply due to racist reasons, but because of proximity. Okay, a lot of Black people are just around other Black people, so they end up getting together more so than white people. Okay, that's why I'm not the creator of divestment, but from the content that I've heard, people that I've spoken to, Black women I've spoken to, divestment for a lot of Black women means stepping out of Blackistan and going into other areas around different groups of people and then letting the chips fall where they may, right? That's the whole point of like divestment, is to get us out of Blackistan, because majority of people in every race tend to stick with each other for better or for worse. And with divestment, Black women are saying, we're out of here. We're going towards better. We're being hypergamous, what have you, stuff like that. I'm not a divestment channel. This is just a BW channel. So, those are just things that I've heard from actual divestment channels. But, I saw a tweet on Twitter that made me want to ask this question. Hello, all the ladies in the chat. Yes, Kathleen. However, biracial kids could look all types of ways. Exactly. I mean, you have Barack Obama, who is phenotypically Black looking, but he is biracial. You have, what's that girl's name who's a tennis player? She's half Japanese and half Black, Osaka or something like that. Gosh, I'm so upset I'm forgetting her name, but she's phenotypically Black, but she's, half Asian. She's not fully Black herself. So, you know, your children can still look Black, but at the end of the day, they would technically be biracial. Yes, Naomi Osaka, right? There's plenty of biracial people that look like Barack Obama, that look like Naomi Osaka. But from my understanding, from Barack Obama in particular, he said that he wasn't really accepted by Black people, but that's a whole, different conversation. So that's why I still ask this question: is our legacy going to be lost? Because with this conversation, with dating out and interracial marriages, and then from that will come biracial children, a lot of Black people are making sure that they differentiate between biracial and Black, right? That just because you're biracial, you're not fully Black. They don't, Black people today, I'm seeing, especially online, are trying to gatekeep Blackness from biracials. There was you guys remember that segment that Cynthia G went on about biracial business being Black or whatever, and you had that biracial woman, and she literally passed for a white woman, at least to me. But she was on there like really going hard about how Black she is, but she literally had very white skin, and I guess her hair was blonde. Maybe she dyed it, but she didn't look anything Black, right? And Cynthia G was on there, gatekeeping Blackness. Like, I don't know, I can't remember exactly what she said in that interview, but she didn't agree that biracial woman who literally looked white, she didn't agree with calling her Black, Cynthia G, right? So my thing is, with the creation of biracial babies that are going to be coming from this generation of Black women divesting and things like that, biracial people are going to be on their own. It's going to be a new community. It's going to be a new legacy. It's going to be a new type of thing because Blackness is undeniably Black. Okay, in order to protect yourself as a Black woman, some gatekeeping does need to happen collectively as Black women, whether you're dating within your race or you're dating outside of your race. You have to have some protection of your Blackness as a Black woman because you don't want your image to get erased. You don't want the new Black woman to technically be half white because, that's just not what a Black woman has always been known to be. So some gatekeeping does need to happen, but that doesn't mean that biracial babies or biracial people are any less than or seen as negative. Doesn't mean any of that at all. So let me yes, art bears, there will be a new blended legacy. Exactly. Yeah, phenotype definitely still plays into it all. Also, if you have a biracial child who phenotypically looks Black, they're most likely going to assimilate very well into Black culture because of how they look. But I'm talking, without talking facts here, even though phenotypically Black looking biracial people, even though they look like that, they are still biracial, right? That's just what I'm saying. That's just what I'm saying. And I think another part of this question we can answer is what exactly is Black women's legacy? Um, that people claim are going to be lost if a good portion of us marry out, right? That's another question. But anyway, I was yes looking at a tweet. Ooh, it's always on Twitter. If you guys aren't following me on Twitter, make sure you do so. Let me share this. Oh, actually, I already am. Yeah. So yes, divestment isn't new. I'm when I say divestment being new or recent, I mean like online and with the BWE space, but the actual act of Black women dating, marrying, and procreating with other races of men, no. Not new at all. They've been doing that for centuries, actually, even before Black people came here in the continent of Africa. Europeans, Asian men were coming over, especially towards Northeast Africa, and were procreating with Black women. So let's just get that straight. That's not new. Okay. Hold on. Let me share this with you guys. All right. So you guys see this tweet, right? I don't know who this man is that tweeted this, but the tweet says Serena Williams' legacy would have been even more solidified if she married a Black American man. Now, once again, we have a Black woman who is minding her business. And once again, we have a Black man coming for her again, coming for her some other time. And then he posts a picture of Serena Williams' husband, Alexis Ohanian. So he didn't he got a lot of retweets, right? Like 568 retweets, 5,349 people quoted it, and like 5,400 whatever likes. Right? So the comments and the replies were pretty interesting. A lot of people actually disagreed with him. There were a lot of Black men that disagreed with him as well. There were a few tweets I really liked that painted the picture perfectly that stood out to me. This one here, Black men were calling her every hideous name under the sun. I got called names because I had muscles. Ew, you look like Serena. Black men have never been kind to her. Right? So that was like majority of what the Black women were saying in these comments, that Black men didn't even like Black women. didn't even think Serena was beautiful, didn't think she was feminine. They called her a man. Like, I remember that. They've been doing that for years, for years. And on top of that, yes, been she has been dating black men. And Serena Williams' story is really no different than a lot of black women's story, when it comes to why black women decided to start dating outside of their race. A lot of black women originally wanted to date black men and had a preference for black men to the point where they didn't want to date anybody else. And then we've all gotten the same results: not being taken seriously, some being even abused, made fun of, being treated like masculine women, when really we just wanted a genuine relationship with the men within our race, which is extremely normal considering other people want to have relationships with each other in their own race as well. Black women were no different. Now, is every black woman perfect, girlfriend material and wifey material? I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that there are enough black women who were worthy and still are worthy of relationship and commitment, but our men did not agree, right? And so, because of that, we have plenty of black women like Serena Williams, I believe, growing by the day, who are stepping out when it comes to their dating pool, stepping out in terms of choosing other races of men, stepping out and dating interracially, okay? And actually, finally finding success. And now you're minding your business, you're with your new man. That's basically, this is my story too, to be honest. I only dated black men. Horrible results each time in terms of them taking me seriously. A lot of them had attitudes, and don't even get me started on the mommy issues that were prevalent amongst black men that I dated. And when I say the men that I'm talking about, the black men I dated, they were not pookies, okay? These were college educated black men that had good careers for the most part, had benefits, medical insurance, um, no criminal records, and they weren't baby daddies. They didn't have children or anything like that either, and they still had issues. It just doesn't matter. And they all still subscribe to the same black male culture that is, in general, anti family and anti relationship, anti commitment, anti marriage. Okay. So, and I still got bad results. And it wasn't until I decided to just, you know, try something new. And I started dating outside of my race. And my current man now is white. And we're together. We've been together and it's been amazing. So, probably the best relationship I've ever been in, honestly. Okay. But Serena Williams has dated black men. She's been loyal to a black man, taking it seriously, and they have not. So to still see black men tweeting about Serena Williams, and then I guess Drake came out with an album with 21 Savage, and they made some comments about her husband in that song. Just all of these butthurt black men coming for black women who are minding their business, like, y'all had your chance. These black men literally have first dibs on all the black women that are what the world would really consider top of the line. Serena Williams is that top of the line black woman to the world, okay? Let's not get it twisted. And black men had first dibs access to her, okay? And they fumbled the bag. They fumbled the ball. They dropped it. They could have had an amazing family. They didn't want it. The black men she dated chose the promiscuous, anti family, anti commitment lifestyle. Serena was not down for that, so she went towards a man that's from a culture where family, monogamy, leadership, and protection is celebrated. That stuff is not celebrated amongst the black men in this community. Okay? So, Serena, she's not a traitor. She's not losing anything. She's doing what's best for her and her future. Like, Serena, what does Serena tell you? Serena tells you, besides her status of being successful in terms of, her athleticism, she's still like plenty of other women, black women especially. She's still like so many of us. She still wanted a family. She still wanted children. She still wanted a man in her life that she can go home to, that she can be there for herself as well. A man that she can support emotionally, mentally, and share that intimate space. That's something a lot of women want across all races and cultures, income levels, whether you're a mother or you're not. All women are searching for those things when they enter into the dating market for the most part. Not saying, for the most part. Okay, I'm speaking in general, not absolute. Okay. And I don't know what these men expected, that Serena was just not going to want those things because she is successful, but she does. And she went out and found that. And she has a fuse that went out like so many other black women's fuse have gone out when it comes to your expectations in men. And her fuse for the expectations she was finding in black men went out, just like the everyday black woman's fuse is going out with black men when it comes to dating, commitment, and relationship. And she went where she was celebrated and loved and taken seriously, and she found a successful man in the process. Now, from my understanding, Serena does make more or has a higher net worth than her husband, but her husband is still a successful guy. If somehow, some way, Serena lost it all tomorrow, her husband still has more than enough to most likely maintain their same lifestyle. All right. So that's that. That's that part on the who she should have been with part. Now, the next part he talks about is her legacy. And a lot of the other women in this thread was talking about her legacy is not based on who she chose to be with. Okay. Her legacy is based on her hard work, her skills. Before she had no man, when she was single, she started off playing tennis when she was like a little girl before she even started dating anybody. Okay. So her legacy is going to be solidified if she got divorced. God forbid she got divorced tomorrow. Her legacy will be solidified if, yeah, she somehow lost all her net worth. She's still Serena Williams. She's still a very accomplished black woman. Okay. There was a particular comment in here. One person says her legacy is secured and she tried black men. They chewed her up and spit her out. How long is she supposed to wait? How much hate is she supposed to take? The days of our long suffering are over. Exactly. Precisely. They're mad at a woman for doing what's best for her and then want to discount her legacy and her hard work because of it. I don't think so. Regardless if Serena Williams got with a black man or not, her scores on her games are solid, are confirmed, are recorded. Her deals are solid, contracted, signed, sealed, and delivered. A black man was not going to elevate anything. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. They weren't. If Serena Williams married a black man, um, number one, it wouldn't be a surprise, right? Because it's normal for black people, white people, and Asian people to marry each other. But number two, it wouldn't change anything about her legacy because she did it without a black man, first and foremost. The only black man that was technically shooting it with her in the gym was her dad, right? Her dad was the only black man that was really pushing for her and her skills, especially going based off that movie I saw about her dad, right? But there was no romantic love interest, no type of black man that was really by her side during that time. So this comment was interesting to me right here. This guy says, no, he is right. Black love is valued highly now, and if you can find it, you will be boosted higher. I mean, think about the examples. It's always been like this. No non mixed black and white couple has ever been at the top ever. So, this is an interesting or part of the thread that he created, right? Saying that because interracial, what I got from this is because interracial dating is like what I would say, quote unquote, on trend right now. Like it's in the commercials, it's here online, right? Especially amongst Black people. Safe to say there is some kind of a divide, right? If you do so happen to find Black love and it actually works for you, the price went up for Black love. Basically, to say that dating out is very easy for Black people to do. And it's easy because there's just so many other groups of people more than there are us. So it's easy to find someone, right? So if you find someone outside of your race as a Black person, so if you find someone today in today's time within your race, it's like a prize. It's like a prize, right? Because everyone at the top, everyone that's successful has a white partner, it seems. But I beg to differ. There's a lot of, so you know, on my channel is technically best man for the job. I don't care if you date, you know, it's whatever. I particularly promote interracial dating because Black women do it the least. But still, at the end of the day, nothing wrong. Obviously, you, I don't think there's anything wrong with being a Black person and you date outside your race, and that's just your first choice. That's very normal for majority of people of other races. Okay, let's just get that clear, right? But amongst this trend of divestment swirling, Black men getting passports and all that other stuff, you know, Black love is considered much more valuable and one of a kind and special now if you can find it. And that's what his comment was saying, and I did think it was interesting. I did think that perspective was interesting because if everyone is dating out, the Black people who choose to date inside, it's almost like they can become their own elite class of the Black community in a sense. They'll try to make themselves seem like they are elite because they decided to date within their race and have Black children not mixed with anything. They're going to start to think they're better. So there's going to be a divide with that within the next couple of decades, I bet you. One girl replied to him, oh no, not this guy, but the main comment, and says, "You sound like one of those dudes who won't date a Black woman but doesn't want any other race to date them either. You can't have it both ways." So the guy who did make this tweet, he just said right here, again, to those in the back who don't know, my wife is full FBA, found out foundational Black American, and we have a daughter together. Hmm. Okay. So this is what I'm talking about, guys. It's gonna come a time where, since interracial dating is so popular right now amongst, especially amongst Black women, but you know, you still have Black men that have always been about interracial dating, but now I guess their trend is getting a passport. The people who can make Black relationships work with each other are going to consider themselves better. They're going to consider themselves the elite, which is kind of what this guy is saying in his tweet. Because I just showed you the other tweet where he said him and his wife is a Black woman and they have a Black daughter together. So, you know, it's just interesting because the women who date out, like Serena, like I said earlier, they prefer Black men first and foremost. I would speculate, personally, I would speculate that majority of the Black women in the swirling and divestment spaces, okay, maybe not majority, but a lot of them preferred Black men before. And they were tired of the results they were getting and decided that they want to expand. Because that was Serena Williams. Serena Williams was only dating Black men. So, you know, for Serena Williams is very common to a lot of Black women. Um, They have given black men plenty of chances, and it just didn't work. It didn't work out. The black men weren't having it, right? So, are black women losing their legacy when they marry out? In terms of legacy, meaning a black woman's hard work and who she is, no. That's going to get carried to you, going to get carried with you no matter what. Now, if you want to talk about race, if you want to talk about the purity of the black female race, is that going to get lost if you married out? I'm not going to say it's going to get lost, but if you marry a man who is not black and you have children with him, your children will be biracial. They will not be fully black, but that is not something anyone needs time to think about. That's obvious. That's very obvious. Okay? Very, very obvious. Okay? Let me see what you guys are saying. White men tend to go for darker skinned black women. Yeah, dark skinned black women, they definitely, from my observations as well, they tend to um, have no problem dating outside of their race. I'm also seeing a lot of dark African black women not have any issues either. Black men want to hold out on marriage and use it as a manipulation tool while they impregnate black women and leave them with babies. Who wants that? Exactly. Exactly. There's already so many black women who are famous, have a lot of resources, and get impregnated by black men and don't get any wedding rings. And no surprise, who I'm gonna bring up next, Kiki Palmer. Okay, Afrocentric Woman did a live. I think it was the other day, and I went on her live to, talk a little bit about. I don't think she has it on her Twitter, does she? Her belly. I went on her live to talk a little bit about my thoughts regarding Kiki Palmer, because she is pregnant by, I guess, a lighter skinned black man. Um, yeah, she's pregnant by a black man. They're not married, they're not together. Yes, Kiki Palmer and Rihanna. And to be honest, I'm a little bit. Oh, he's mixed. Yeah, he looks mixed, so that makes sense. Now, I think the baby's gonna come out beautiful because he's a good looking guy and Kiki Palmer is beautiful. So their child is literally gonna be so cute. But I'm still just a little bit sad because they're not married, right? And we have enough, we have enough black women like this already in our society. Now, I think, of course, we're talking about celebrities, Kiki Palmer, Rihanna, and what have you. We're talking about celebrity black women whose money runs very long. Okay. They technically don't need, or they don't need a hypergamous relationship. They also don't even need to desire that, at least. They have their own money, okay, which can offer them a lot of privilege while being single mothers as black women. But the everyday black single mother doesn't have those types of financial privileges, offered to her to give her a comfortable life while raising kids by herself, usually, right? It's sad. And I also said on Afrocentric Women's um, live that Kiki Palmer is approaching her 30s. She also has a hormonal condition, PCOS, and I'm not saying that she should have deleted her baby, but a lot of women will be okay with being a single mother, being a baby mama, if they believe age is against them, if they have the money And if they have some kind of health condition, that doesn't guarantee that they'll get pregnant again. And the hormonal condition she has, women can still get pregnant if you have PCOS, but it's, I guess, a little bit harder. Um, so these types of women will find out they're pregnant, even though they probably didn't plan on being a baby mama, but there's just certain factors in their life when they're just like, I should keep this baby because I don't know when I'll be able to get pregnant with my health condition. I'm getting older, so it can make things worse for me. So I'm going to keep this child, right? One of my aunts is kind of like that. She had a baby out of wedlock with her longtime boyfriend, my uncle, I guess, or yeah, my uncle. They never married, but she was like 34. And so my dad had to kind of talk her out of wanting to delete the baby because my dad was saying, well, you're 34, you don't know if you'll be able to get pregnant again, and it's going to get, harder, and all these health things and blah blah. So she's just like, you're right, I'm just going to keep this child. And then my cousin was born. And of course I love my cousin. She's amazing. But those are some things that a lot of women consider, and that will make them want to keep the child. Now, as far as the guy that she's with, he's not a guy who has a lot of money. On Afrocentric Woman's Live, they said that he is a personal trainer, and he has a cousin who's an actor, right? So they met somewhere. I don't know. They met at an event through mutual friends. I forgot exactly that portion, but her baby daddy doesn't make anywhere near what she makes, Kiki Palmer. So, and that's another thing. Um, a lot of these Black women don't want to marry because of their income, right? They don't want a rich man because they are the rich man, okay? And getting married would mean that they would be, liable to pay child support if they divorce, or alimony. Now, I know in the state of California, you get alimony, I think, if you're married for at least 10 years and you divorce, then you get alimony, or the spouse who makes less gets alimony or whatever. I think. Don't quote me on that. But I know for sure child support is something Kiki would be up to pay if she married, or her baby daddy wanted to do that. Actually, yeah, you don't need to be married for that. You can just file for child support. But that's also kind of rare, though, for women to lose custody of their kids to the point where they'd have to pay child support. Because if you're 50-50 in some states, you're not paying child support if you're 50-50. It's only if someone has full custody or has more custody, something like that in some states. But look, I don't know all the child support stuff. I ain't got no kids, so don't quote me. This is just, I know my brother um, has a child with his ex-wife, and he has 50-50 with her, and he doesn't pay child support as of right now. Could change. Right. So, yeah. So, I'm really sad about Kiki Palmer because I consider Kiki Palmer to be like America's sweetheart in a sense. She had all those movies when she was super little and she was so cute, and she was like a little, America's little princess, and she's been very unproblematic. She's not like a ratchet type of hood radish Black woman, no shade, no offense. I'm just saying she carries herself very well. Like, she doesn't carry herself like the city girls, if you know what I mean. Like, she has her own style, and it's very relatable to a lot of people, even if they're not Black, to a lot of women, even if they're not Black. So she's very what's the word, like, palatable, I guess. But I love Kiki Palmer. I love her personality. I love her energy. She shows it on her social media. She's hilarious. So, I just thought that she would get better, but she has certain circumstances in her life. Once again, her hormonal condition, her income. So, marriage is probably not at the forefront for her. But the important thing is, when we're talking about these celebrity Black women, we cannot have such a heavy attachment to them because they have a different lifestyle Okay, like they have resources, a reputation, and a name that runs long. And the average black woman, young, especially if you're under the age of 30, like Kiki Palmer, shouldn't be following in her footsteps. Shouldn't be. Indian Arrest says so many black American women are single mothers, it's sad. So I've addressed the single mother stats on my channel. Okay. What it comes down to is this: majority of black women are not single moms. That's just what it is, guys. I know the men are out here saying it, but they're saying it wrong and out of context. What it really is, and I've read the study, I've pulled it up actually. What it really is that majority of children that are in single parent homes, majority of those homes are led by single black women. 89% or 88%. And then the other 10 to 11% are led by single black men. But majority of black women, specifically under the age of 30, are not single mothers. I want to make that clear. Okay? It's a lie going around that so many black women are baby mamas. There are a lot of black women who are single mothers, yes, but it's not the majority of us. There's actually plenty of black women who have no children, okay, and are childless. There's a growing number of them, I would say, who are opting out of motherhood altogether. And there's just in general, there's a lot who have no children and are waiting for marriage. So when the guys get on here and complain that there aren't enough black women who have no kids and are, that marriage material, it's a lie. It's a lie. Another thing that's a lie is majority of black women are obese. That's a lie. 1 in 3 black people in general are more likely to be obese. That study does not tell you majority of black women are indeed obese. That study tells you that majority of black women or black women, actually I'm not even going to say majority. The study actually says black women are most likely to develop obesity than white women. And we can blame that on lifestyle choices, medical conditions, uh, access to certain resources, healthcare, and things like that. The reason why so many black women are overweight is not always due to us just being lazy and sitting around. A lot of it is factors that I wouldn't say are out of our control, but they're factors that are very hard to control, I would say. They're controllable by black women, but they're difficult. That's the truth. I've said this plenty of times. Even if I go into the guys' spaces, I've said this. And the guys' thing about the black men on here is they don't know how to read stats. We already know the black men are the least educated in our community. So you can't expect them to read things and get it right. Okay? You just can't. Black women are not majority obese, but black women are the most likely to develop obesity. Two different statements. It's not the same. I also saw another tweet yesterday that really kind of pissed me off. I'm tired of people, just in general, I'm tired of people coming on social media and talking about all these issues with black women that don't exist. I'm sorry to say this. I gotta say, because it was really pissing me off last night. I was on Twitter and there was a tweet about multiple sclerosis. I don't know. You're on Twitter, you're just scrolling, random things pop up. So a black woman talks about how she got recently diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. And then another black woman who's a doctor, aka anesthesiologist actually, responds and tells her, "Oh, black women are the most common with this disease." So I had to respond to her and I said, "I know you're a doctor and all, but you're statistically incorrect. The people who are most likely to get multiple sclerosis are white people." However, where she was probably just got it wrong is that recently the risk has increased for Black women to get multiple sclerosis, but we are not the most likely to get it. That is white people. So it's stuff like that, putting out all this information to make it seem like Black women are doomed, that we have all these issues, and it's like, no, we don't. We have a high likelihood of going through them, but statistically we are not the poster child for all of these things. We are not. I had to let her know. And guess what, guys? It's even on the National Multiple Sclerosis Society website. It will tell you this. So that's why I was really looking at this Black woman doctor kind of sideways. Like, where are you getting your information from? Because on the actual website for multiple sclerosis, where it gives you all of that data, it does not say that. Oh my god, guys, I was so, because the tweet also got a whole lot of views as well, right? That particular tweet about Black women getting multiple sclerosis, it's not true. I was so disappointed, to be honest, in this Black woman doctor who was saying this, because it was incorrect statistically, and it was even on the multiple sclerosis website. This is what I'm talking about. You need to read. Stop taking things that people say, even me. But the thing with me is, if you're going to listen to people, make sure they give you the source. Make sure they give you where you can read it for yourself. And I posted the link. And I just repeated the link here on my channel, but I posted the link. Like this, even though it was a Black woman doctor saying these things, her message that Black women are sickly 24 doggone 7, 365 days a year, which isn't even correct, that affects our image. It places us in this state of victimhood, in this state of we can't do anything, that we're like always sick, so we're always almost useless. And that's just not true. Black women really are trailblazing. Okay? Black women are trailblazing and they are making it. Did I say anything is perfect? No. Obviously, there's some things that Black women have to figure out. There's a lot of health things that we have to address. But to make it seem like we're doomed and there's just no way out, that is defeat scarcity mindset. And I'm not having it. Not on my watch. Iona Van Zandt. Not on my watch. Okay? Cite the sources. Like, all these people got so many things to say about Black women, but they're not citing the sources. Everything I've talked about, I have addressed on my channel. I've not only addressed and give you sources, but I've pulled them up and shared my screen of us going through the 2019 Census Black Report to tell y'all how much Black women are making, to tell y'all how many households are being led by Black women, and to tell y'all the rates of death between Black women and men. Black men, less than 40% of them even make it past the age of 55. So you have all these Black male dating coaches dropping like flies at 52. And I'm just sitting here like, why are y'all shocked? Why are y'all surprised? In 2019, the census told you that. They told you these men are dropping like flies before they turn 55, and it specifically increases a lot when they just turn 18. That's the crazy thing. Black men and Black women actually are at the same level in terms of like um, our existence or whatever. I forgot the word. Is it mortality? I don't know if I'm saying that right. Mortality rates or something like that. But there's equal number of Black girls and boys under the age of 18. And once we cross 18, for some reason, the Black boys literally take a dip by like a dip. I think it was like 5 to 10%. And then it just keeps going down. And by the time we get to 55 years old, yes, life expectancy. Exactly. That's what I meant to say. Okay, mortality rate is right. Okay, good. But yeah, I'm talking about life expectancy specifically. Black women are the only ones lasting past the age of 55, over 50% of us. Okay. And that's also why when they talk about Black women in marriage rates, that's also incorrect. 25% of Black women are one in what they say, 1 in 4 black women will see marriage. That's also not true. That leaves 25%. It is true that 25%, around that 25% of black women are currently married. But technically, if you include black women that were separated, widowed, and got divorced, and you're talking about the likelihood of a black woman reaching the altar, the likelihood of a black woman getting married, that number is actually over 50% if you include all of those things. Because all of those black women, even though they got divorced, separated, and especially widowed, because that's out of your control, those black women still got married. They still made it to the altar. And it's way more than 25%. And by the way, that study also told you, that 2019 Black Census report also tells you that black women are the most likely to become widows because our men have such short life expectancies, and majority of black women that get married, 90%, marry black men anyway. Okay? So there's just so many facts that just get misconstrued online, from black men who just dislike black women, and then from black women who unfortunately still live in a victimhood scarcity mindset. Okay, both, in my personal opinion, both still share some sense of animosity towards the black woman. I'm sorry, because I'm very pro black woman empowerment. So I'm always going to speak life, positivity, and abundance. I'm going to still say the truth. But there's never going to be a time where there's these major situations that happen with black women, and it's like there's just no way out. We're just doomed. Like that's not true. That's not possible. Khadijah says, "You, I've been saying a lot of black women are more likely, and you talking image made me think." I mean, every time I see this, to be honest, every time I see a black woman are more likely, I have to double check that. I have to double check, because black women only make up like around 6 to 7% of this nation's population. So there's like, it's just something doesn't add up. Now, if you're now, the reason why that could be is because there aren't a lot of black women, right? That's really how you calculate rate of something, the rate and likelihood of something happening. It also looks so high amongst black women because there just aren't a lot of us. So it's a problem that it's happening um, at a rate that's very high because our population size and our birth rates for black baby girls isn't at the same level as the event that's occurring to take us out. Capricorn says, "I think more black women dating outside of the race will probably increase the marriage rates." Yeah, I will. The Speaking of the census, I was going to come on here and do a separate talk about um, black women marriages in 2022, 2023. They just released a marriage report regarding black people in general, and what states were getting married in the most. And the funny thing is all the states that had a pretty big black population, or states that had cities with a major population, so like Atlanta, particularly DC, the marriage rates for black people in general, I don't know the gender breakdown, it was talking about black people, has not increased and is not high at all. But the crazy thing is when you go to states where there's a lot of white people, the black marriage rates increase. So once again, I don't know the gender breakdown. I don't know how many black women in these states are um, getting married and the increase of that. But basically, if you move out of these predominantly black cities, it's almost like that study was saying, marriage is happening more amongst black people in these states where the black population has decreased, right? So, I went on a little bit of a tangent, but, you know, are Black women losing their legacy when they marry out? I don't think so. I actually think, I love Kiki Palmer, but if Black women continue to have children out of wedlock, that adds a lot to a legacy Black women don't want, an image that Black women don't want. We need a legacy of us getting married before we have kids, at least for the ladies who do want marriage, who do want children, which is usually majority of women in every culture and every race. Majority of women that want to have kids someday would prefer to do it in a marriage than they would outside. Regardless of the outcome, regardless of you know what I'm saying? Like Kiki Palmer didn't plan to be a baby mama, and it probably wasn't something she was hoping to do when she was a little girl. Like that wasn't something she was planning to do when she was a little girl. It's just something that happened. Right? But majority of women when they think about having children, they want it to be within a marriage. And I'd like to say the same for men who want to have children. I'm hoping that there's a good chunk of men who would rather have their children with their wife than to have a baby mama and end up paying some kind of child support or being a weekend dad. Like I don't think young men who do want kids someday want that to happen to them. And I say that because if you've been through the manosphere, they literally have videos. Majority of all their videos is telling men how to avoid being that way anyway. How to avoid paying the child support and how to avoid being a weekend dad. Right? But the thing is when they talk about it, it's like in a way like the Kim Kardashian and Kanye West. There was a guy who posted a video about it and just all the comments that came from that, talking about how, $200,000 is way too much money. But, and they're saying it's too much because Kim has a lot of money herself. So it's basically how I interpreted that logic was so because Kim is a billionaire. She should be financially she should be the sole person who's financially responsible for kids that she created with another man. So Kanye shouldn't be paying um money, or he should be paying like a bare minimum amount because basically Kim got the rest, quote unquote. Like what? Don't you're tripping if you believe that. I'm sorry. I'm to be honest, personally, I'm not going to say I'm pro child support specifically, but I don't think that anything needs to really change about the child support for real, in my opinion. If you create a child with someone and you make more money and you also have less time available to spend with your kids, you need to pay out. You need to pay. It doesn't matter how much money your other person makes. You make a lot of money too, and you have less time with your kids. Kim can afford a lot of things. Kim can afford to have kids from surrogate every year for the rest of her life if she wants to do that. But it's not about her income. It's about the fact that Kanye created children with Kim. They got divorced. He even, if you've been listening to his rants, he said that he ruined his marriage from watching too much pornography. So I guess he's taking the fall for why his marriage ended. He said so out of his own mouth. So I can't sit here and blame specific things that Kim has done because he said as a man he was watching too much pornography and that's what ruined his marriage for the most part. And then there's other rumors that he was sleeping with other people too. So, and then on top of that, this guy Kanye, he's all over the place. He's traveling, trying to run for president. And so he doesn't have time to sit and be with his kids every single day. Kim is also a busy woman, obviously. She has her businesses, she has her things going on. But at the same time, she's with her kids. She has access to her kids all the time. She's not running for president. She's not skipping from state to state frequently to handle her business. She lives in LA, and that's where a lot of her business is at. They're both busy people at the end of the day, but I think in their specific case, the judge looked at who can be, which parent can make the most accommodation for their children. And I think that's definitely Kim. I mean, if you watch their show, her children are there all the time. They're like in the next room. All the time, her kids are there. Even if she's working or at her office, her kids are there. Like she has a playroom in her offices and crap. Her kids are around. Kanye doesn't have that. He's skipping over from here to here, doing all these interviews, trying to run for president. No, he can't keep his kids with him all the time. Kim has to keep them with her all the time. So he has to pay. When you create a child with someone, it's not quote unquote free. Children cost money, babies cost money. And just because the person you created the child with has enough money to take care of them by themselves doesn't excuse you from financially contributing to your kids. So, of course, when the criticisms of Kim and Kanye and how much he's paying her per month came out, of course, literally all the black men had a problem with this. And by the way, he's paying for 4 children, 4 kids, y'all. Like 200K, you can say it's a lot, but for 4 children, there's people who are paying, there's celebrity men who are paying 50,000 a month for 1 kid. So now you got 4, like 200K for 4 kids between 2 billionaires sounds about right. It sounds about right, in my opinion. Because then the child support court is also looking at if the children were to stay together and how that lifestyle would be. So the judge is also, trying to make sure the children's lifestyle doesn't change too much, despite the parents not being together. So that's a big, that's a key factor in how these are broken down as well. So it is what it is. Bridget says he's no longer a billionaire. He's no longer a billionaire, but somehow, some way, when he presented all of his financial information to that judge saw that he can afford 200K a month for his 4 children. So I know Forbes and the media is reporting that he's not a billionaire anymore in terms of net worth, but we technically don't know how much money is sitting in his bank account. Technically, we don't. But the judge do, and the judge was like, "Oh, you can definitely afford 200,000 a month for your 4 kids." I mean, it is what it is. Like I don't think I think that was a perfect price point. If you got rappers out here paying their groupie baby mamas 10 to 20 or sometimes 50K a month in child support, I think 200K between two people who are just both equally almost as rich with 4 kids is a good price, in my opinion. In my opinion, Black men are the only ones who think like this. They are the only men I hear saying they should be able to make babies and not take care of them. Yes. The black men are on here saying that if you as a woman make enough money, then you don't need him to pay for their kids. You can do it by yourself. That is what the black men are basically. They're not saying that verbatim, but with all of their criticisms, that's pretty much what it comes down to. So God forbid Kiki Palmer, I don't want to say God forbid, but well actually for the black men's case, they would say God forbid Kiki Palmer applies for child support and maybe she does actually end up getting something. These black men are going to have a field day. They're going to have a tough time because they're going to be like, well, only a personal trainer and she's a multimillionaire actress. What does she need his money for? Completely neglecting the fact that they have a child together. Like, hello? They have a kid together. You think children are free? But it also goes to show you how many black men actually don't value children because they don't see them worth financial contribution unless you, as the mother, are completely down and out. Because men who value kids have no issue paying for children, especially their own children, regardless of your income, regardless of your schedule, your career. They value the fact that they had children. They're thankful for the fact that you, as the mom, are taking care of them. Therefore, the least that they can, if they know that the least that they can do is pay, they don't mind. So, it's sad. It's sad to me. But in general, it's going to be very hard for Black women to lose their legacy when they marry out. Most likely, Black women are able to marry out and have close proximity to successful men of other races because of the things that they've done, because of their network, usually their education, right? Even in the data, it says that educated women are most likely to be married because of the access to networks that they have. And you're not going to lose your legacy when you marry out. To say that Serena Williams would have been elevated or whatever if she married a black man is stupid. It's stupid because she's already tried to date black men, and I'm sure she dated them all, taking them seriously, um, open to marrying a black man. Like I said, that's common for a lot of black women who are particularly trying to date outside of their race right now. They started off wanting to date black men, but it didn't work out. Black men themselves fumbled it. So, I was telling you guys earlier that I'm in a relationship. My man is white. He really does treat me like a queen. Probably the best relationship I've ever been with. He's white and he's like one of those white guys that love to hunt and go shooting, kind of like a not like a preppy boy white guy. He's like a in the woods white guy, if that makes sense. I hope you guys know what I mean. But he's just so loving to me. Um, but so it's going well. But I'm still not married. So yeah, I wouldn't say Duck Dynasty like with the long beard and the grossness, but that rough type of look, yes. He's very much a hard worker, loves to shoot, love to hunt. He's not like preppy white guy, but I don't know. It's really masculine. It's sexy. It's attractive to me. So and it works for us. Um, but yeah, girl. But yes, like woodworking, stuff like that, like that type of not afraid to get their hands dirty type. So that's him. So we're just in a relationship. We're just boyfriend and girlfriend. Oh, my mom's calling me. We're just boyfriend and girlfriend, and I'm still open to meeting new people just because I rotationally date. And I'm not married. I don't have a ring on my finger. So if there is some other guy that is really willing to put in the work to get me, then we can see how it goes. So there was a guy who hit me up, and we go to the same church. I didn't know this. He hit me up on Facebook. Now, I'm like I told you guys before, I'm best man for the job, right? So despite the things that I'm saying when it comes to black men and women in our interactions, I believe in best man for the job. So if you are a black man that meets the standard, I don't mind meeting you. I don't mind talking to you. I don't mind seeing what can happen. It's best man for the job for me personally. So this guy was black. And so we met at church this past Sunday. It was really no funny business because I'm still very much into my current man. But I met him in person. He had all of his friends there. He had like a friend group. at the church. So I really was like meeting him and all of his friends. So that's why I didn't feel really weird about it. There was like other black girls in the group too, which who were super nice that I met. But when I met him, oh God, it was like it was not a good meeting. It was kind of horrible. Like, first of all, he's black. He's from uh Georgia. I live in California. And he had a horrible attitude. So the service was great. We got out of the service, started walking to the car. He was going to give me and another black girl and a guy friend of his a ride back to our cars because we parked further away. And so when we got to his car, he starts yelling at one of the other black girls in his friend group because she asked him to move some stuff out of his back seat. So he goes off on her. He starts being like, "Man, you always wanted me to do something extra for you." And I'm just like, I just kind of stand there. I was just shocked. So I didn't interfere, didn't go off on him. But in my head, I'm just like, oh, hell no, this man is crazy. He has a real attitude issue. But I didn't know any of this because when we're texting on Facebook Messenger, he seemed okay. Like he seemed normal. I was just like, okay, we go to the same, and then we went to the same church. So that's another reason why I was like, okay, well, if you're a religious man, then sure, I'll meet you, like whatever. But no, no, y'all. Yes, like he was still just trifling, typical, like with issues. I was so I oh God, I was so annoyed. I was just like, oh God, another one. Like, even in the church, really. And our church is very diverse. I don't go to a black church. I made a video that said why I divested from the black church. So I don't go to a black church no more. My church has a biracial pastor. The congregation is majority white and Hispanic, really. And so there's few black people at our church. So that's another reason I was like, okay, you're this young black guy. And then he had a friend group who was also black. So I was like, oh, okay, like I'll meet all of you guys, because there's not a lot of the black people in my church is huge. So the black people are kind of spread out. So, his friend, the thing is his friends was cool. The black girl was super sweet and everything, but you know, he had a horrible attitude. It was really bad, and I'm just like, what the hell? So, yes, usually that is what you will run into when dealing with black men. So, girl, I was just like, oh God, here we go. So it's just like, so I'm personally best man for the job. So that technically means that, yeah, I'm still open to meeting or even dating black men if they meet my standards and boundaries. But the more that I date outside of my race and date men from a different culture that actually treat me better, it's very hard. It's very hard to settle for anything less. And when I say settle, I don't mean like in terms of a guy's finances and stuff. It's just treatment, just attitude. Like men from these other cultures, they just have better attitudes. They were raised in different environments that are much more loving and they treat women better. So it's very hard to deal with the attitude of a black man, to deal with a black man who has these mommy issues, who just doesn't know how to talk to you, ready to blow up on you for no reason or over something very small. Like the fact that this black guy that wanted to meet me for the first time at church went off on another black woman in front of me, all because she asked him to please remove some things off of your back seat so she can sit down. Like, I'm in my head, like, did you really think that that was a smooth move? Like, did you think I was not going to say anything? And I don't know, maybe some pick me type of black woman wouldn't have cared, but I'm a girl's girl. I love my girls. I love, like, I'm a girl's girl. So I can't, like, if you're treating other women badly, I don't think that's a flex. If you're treating other women badly in front of me, I'm going to just think you're crazy. And I don't even want to find out how you would treat me in an intimate relationship. Like, I'm good. So I was over it. That just happened this past Sunday. So it's like there's so many black women like Serena who have dealt with black men, okay, who pull up with the foolishness, who are even still willing to find out and mess around with the okey doke. And now they're woken up, they're tired of it, and they've moved on. Okay. And when I was with meeting that black guy for the first time this past Sunday at my church, y'all. Supposedly the church is supposed to be a safe place with happy people who love you and all of these amazing things. And it was the complete opposite with this black man I met, who he says goes to church himself like every Sunday. But I did not get that vibe that he had this spiritual connection with anything, in my opinion. It's like he just goes to church, I don't know, to impress people or something, not because he really has a spiritual connection. Because no, his behavior was just not it. And then when we're leaving the church parking lot, y'all, there's just so many little things that went wrong. I don't know. When I met this guy, we're leaving the church parking lot. So we all get in his car. We're leaving the church parking lot, and he starts blasting Future in the church parking lot. Maybe it's just me, but when I go to church and I'm leaving church, I just have a level of respect, for the people who are very religious and spiritual. I don't blast like stripper music in a church parking lot. Like, am I crazy for that? Like, is it just me? I don't think that stuff is cute. Like, maybe I'll play my hip hop once I leave, but I don't sit in the church parking lot and quite literally blast Future and other stripper music with my windows down, y'all. He had his windows down. He drives a BMW seat. His seat was leaned all the way back. I'm seeing this for the first time, and I'm just like, oh no, oh no, mm-mm. This isn't it. This isn't it. And mind you, my main man is white. So I just can't help but to compare the behaviors now. I'm best man for the job. I wouldn't say that I'm a divester. Wouldn't say I'm a swirler. I just date men that I find attractive. I don't care what race they are, as long as they're respectful and meet my standard. That's just me, right? But I'm not blind to what is happening with a lot of black men that are out here, which is what I talk about on my channel. Okay. I date out, but I'm not like against dating a black man ever again, but I included interracial dating within my dating pool and have welcomed the possibility that my future husband might not be black, and the possibility that my future children will probably be biracial. None of that bothers me. What bothers me is getting into a relationship and marriage with a man who's crazy, who has a bad attitude, who actually doesn't really like women. They're sexually attracted to women. They they even want to marry one and have a woman have his kids, but he won't really like her. Okay, these guys just want women around for an ego boost, for sex. Um, Maybe you did have his kids, so he knows you're the mother of his child, and he's trying to have a family moment. But in general, if you didn't offer those things, he wouldn't want you around. Like your personality, he doesn't like. And with my man who is white, he likes my personality. Like we talk about everything. And so after I left the church from meeting this black dude, I got mixed up with my white man, and he took me out to get brunch, and it was an amazing afternoon. We got brunch at this new place that I've been wanting to see. It was so good. And oh, sorry, I got another call. Um, and it was so good. And so then we found like a record store. We were walking around and we were looking at stores. So it was a very nice evening. It just made me sit there and think like this is the type of treatment I'm talking about. Like this is the type of love and care that a man is supposed to give a woman. There's no attitude. He's not ready to go off on you. He doesn't have this this fixation with putting you in your place every 5 seconds and telling you about yourself, right? Like that is, oh, I don't know what it is. Well, maybe I do know what it is, but I tend to attract black men that have a fixation with putting women in their place, always ready to tell you about yourself. And when I meet other races of guys, they're not like that. My white guy, he doesn't care if I wear a weave, if I wear natural hair. I asked him, I was like, babe, would you like to see me like in a weave? I kind of think I want to protect my hair and get a protective style and get a weave. And he's like, yeah, babe, whatever you want. I think you look beautiful, natural, whatever you want. It's like he doesn't care, doesn't bother him. He doesn't talk about it. He likes me for me. And that comes with any type of beauty regimens I want to try or do, that comes with any kind of career I want to pursue, or if I don't want to pursue a career at all, like if I want to go back to school and learn something, if I want to get certified in something and start a business, doesn't matter. He likes me for me. But the black men that I meet that claim they want to date me don't treat me that way. It's like they claim they want to date me, but then are ready to put me in my place, tell me about myself and what I need to be doing. And I'm just like, do you like me or not? Because this is not how you treat someone if you like them. Exactly. Real men don't. They don't care. So I'm not in an open relationship, but I'm not married. So I follow the rules of, if you're single, you're single. But I have like my main man that I would spend my life with in the event he does propose, but he hasn't yet. So, in my eyes, if there's a guy who really is pursuing me hard and maybe gives me something that I believe I might be missing from my current man or whatever, I'm willing to at least meet him. But I think honestly, with my current man, he's just so amazing. I really am not technically not really looking. Like the guy I met up with hit me up. I'm not on apps anymore. I'm not following hot, cute guys or whatever. Like a guy's really gonna have to, at this point, really pursue me for real and really talk me to me every day and really bug me to like meet. But it's not I'm not closed off to meeting new guys because I'm not married. And I think all women who are single should date like this. You should always be open to meeting new guys because you have no ring on your finger and your time is very precious. And just that saying, don't let your boyfriend keep you from your husband. There was like a meme that was talking about that. I for the most part agree with that. Like you don't want to, if a guy is really pursuing you, it's okay to like meet him and check it out. But at the end of the day, I did that. Now I'm sitting here telling you right now, after all these things I just said about black men, I still gave a black man a chance this past Sunday. And I was very open, didn't judge at all. And I still got the same results. It is what it is. And this was a black man who does pretty well for himself for the most part. But he's single. Single as heck, and I wonder why. Well, that's because his attitude sucks. Once I saw him yell at that black girl, all because she asked him to please, do you mind moving? And she was very sweet black girl. She was a very well-spoken black girl. Like she wasn't out there. She was cute. Her makeup was natural. She had her hair done. She had on like some high-waisted jeans, some heels, and a sweater. I mean, we were going to church. She was very cute, very poised and elegant. Okay. Like, normal. And he came at her very sideways because she asked him to please, do you mind clearing out your back seat for me to sit down? Oh man, you always got me doing all this extra stuff for you. You can never just sit down. Like, oh, you get on my nerves. I guess they were friends, like a sister brother type of relationship, but it's still just like, why do you have an attitude? Like, why couldn't you just say, oh, okay, no problem? Like, why do you have to be extra? Like, why are you so mean? Like, that's what I really wanted to yell out. Why are you so mean? Because like she didn't say anything. She didn't do anything crazy. She didn't have an attitude in her voice either. She was very sweet. He is probably one of those Kevin Samuels men who think he's a high value man. Probably. Probably. Like, I was just over it. I was really over it. Like, I'm not anti-black. I'm not against being in community with black people. That's why I wouldn't say that I'm a divester. But I definitely have strict boundaries with certain black people because you just can't save all of them. Sorry, you can't. It wasn't unreasonable at all. It was actually very ladylike. When you're a lady and you have on nice clothing, you sit down and you want to make sure there's no stains or crumbs or anything on your seat so it doesn't get on your clothes. And he was treating her like she just need to sit on anything. Like it ain't like it was just really disgusting. I was like, this is such a turnoff. I just can't. But that is what black women have to deal with when they date black men. So Serena Williams getting a white guy and other black women like her, these black men shouldn't be surprised. Shouldn't be surprised. Exactly, Khadijah. Seeing everything as an inconvenience is a red flag. That's how a lot of black men treat black women. Like we're just one big ass inconvenience for requesting basic things. It is crazy to me. And if these men keep it up, which I'm, to be honest, these men are grown out here, okay? These men are out here talking their stuff and they're like 30, 40 something years old. They're not going to change. And they are quite literally going to be the ones to die alone. It's not going to be us black women. It's not going to be us. Serena Williams, look, she went to who was loving her, and her legacy is overwhelmingly solidified to the T. Even if she, God forbid, got divorced tomorrow, she's still Serena Williams. No man can take her titles from her. Let's get that clear. And I don't know what he was saying with this tweet. I mean, like, I don't know what his main purpose was when he tweeted this, but he failed. Two strikes. Number one, why keeps a BMW a luxury car junkie? Two, who invites people to ride in a junkie car? I'm saying, like, thank you. Like, I don't get it either. He really thought it was a flex. And there was just so many other things that I believe went wrong with this. So another thing, guys, I'll just share one more part of the morning. There was two other red flags. So yes, the car issue was a red flag. The blasting Future music in a church parking lot right after service, in my opinion, is a red flag. That's super disrespectful. Just I don't like when people are blasting extremely loud music. That's pretty much very derogatory towards women. I mean, that, it's a Future song. So obviously they was talking about hoes, bend over, smack that ass, like all in the church parking lot. Really? Really? But whatever. Like, like, come on. So disrespectful. But the other two flags is when I first walked into the church and I met him in the lobby. He had his sunglasses on. So he had sunglasses on the entire time during the church service, the entire time in church, indoors. Okay, I'm one of those people that I do think it's weird to wear sunglasses indoors. I do. I'm just like, why you got the glasses on indoors? Like, it's not bright. Like, what's going on? So he had his sunglasses on indoors. And so after the service, when we got into the lobby and I was finally able to actually talk to him and meet his friends, I had to ask him, do you always wear your sunglasses indoors? And he's like, oh yeah, this is just my thing. This is just what I do. And I was just like, oh, okay. I mean, it's not bright inside. Like, do you ever just take them off or something. And then he's like, "Do you want me to take my sunglasses off?" And I responded just like this. I was like, "Yes, I do. I would like for you to take your sunglasses off so that I can see your face." That's literally what I said. Just like that. And so he took his glasses off, and then I'm trying to talk to him and have an actual conversation, and he couldn't even like look me in the eye. He was like looking around while he's talking to me. So maybe he was just nervous, I guess, but usually when you have a conversation with someone, you have eye contact. Like maybe it's just me as on that as well. I'm big on like eye contact when I'm speaking to somebody. So if you're not looking me in my face and speaking to me, for me, it feels like, you're not really like seeing me or hearing me, or your mind is somewhere else. Because when I talk to people, I'm focused on who I'm talking to. Like, I don't know. So that was one, just the sunglasses indoors. That was number one. Okay, and so number two, guys, we were walking outside of the church. So the black girl, she was super sweet. Me and her even exchanged Facebook information because she was super sweet. So me and her were walking behind him and his guy friend in front of us. And so she leaned into me. She's like, "So how did you guys meet? Because I tried to ask him how he met you, and he told me that it's none of my business and to not worry about it." So I told her, I was like, "Oh, well, we have mutual friends, and he added me and he messaged me on Facebook, and we talked for a little bit, and then he invited me to church." And so then I guess everyone else heard me say that in his little crew. And everyone else was like, "Oh, he messaged you. Oh," like they made like a big deal about it. And I was just like, "Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I didn't know it was a secret." And he was very quiet. And after I told everybody that he messaged me first, it's like his demeanor kind of changed. Like he started, like, I don't know, his energy changed. He was very like quiet, kind of nonchalant and distant, because his friends started like doing the, "Oh," like, like kind of making it a big deal. And but I think it was all jokes. It was all fun. But I could tell that he felt uncomfortable with his friends knowing that he approached a woman, making it seem like he's like the macho cool guy or something who doesn't talk to girls, they come to him. So that's why his friends were shocked that he messaged me first. But I don't know them. So I'm like, "Well, why are y'all shocked? Like, don't isn't that what guys do? Don't guys approach women usually first?" Like I was confused. But that was a second red flag to me. Not the part that his friends believed that he didn't approach girls, I guess. But the main red flag was the black girl telling me that he did not want to tell her how he met me and that it's none of her business. In my mind, I was like, why are you so mean? And why are you lying? Like, why can't you just answer questions? Like it gives a vibe of he thought he was above reproach. Like he thinks he's too good to answer questions, to open up and share things. And I don't vibe with people like that. If I ask you something and you think you're above me to answer, when technically you're not, that lets me know that I can't mess with you. Like you're not a person I need to you're not a person I need to be around, because I don't you need to humble yourself. So those are my three flags with meeting this guy, no, this black guy at church on Sunday, that was interested in me, by the way. Number one, the sunglasses in church. Number two, telling the black girl and his friends that it's none of their business when they asked him how he met me. Therefore, I had to tell them myself, and he got clowned, I guess. Whatever. And number four was him yelling at the black girl for wanting to have a clear seat in his car. And then number five, him blasting Future, aka stripper music, in a church parking lot with his windows down in front of everybody walking outside of church. That was just flat out embarrassing. I felt like I wanted to just jump out of the car, to be honest. I was so embarrassed. Oh my God. Oh, I hate that. You know, all the white people was looking at us and stuff. It was just embarrassing. So stereotypical. I was just like, really? Why? Oh my God. Yes, girl. Exactly. He is fake. Let me block this person. He is fake. He was trying to pretend to be this good guy when he is really a dog. That's what I feel. You are exactly so spot on. Trying to be this good guy in my DMs. And then went as far as to invite me to church. So then I was like, oh, okay. Like I actually low key believed it. Like, oh, okay, you're inviting me to church as like our first meeting. That's really like, harmless going to church, right? That's like what normal people would think. But no, how he treated his friends. I had to observe that. He didn't even really say anything rude to me, but it's how he treated his friends. People that he already knew and was spending time to is what I watched. And I concluded from his interaction with other people outside of the church that made me believe this guy is a fake. It is a fake. He is a fake, right? Because I would be a fool to believe that you're going to treat your friends like crap, but then somehow treat me like a queen. And you're the one who's been with your friends, you know these people, you don't even know me, and you expect me to believe you'll treat me like a queen, but your black women friends you have like that you've known that you consider your sisters or whatever, you treat them like crap, you get an attitude with them and you blow up on them. No, you ain't gonna treat me any different. Like if you're meeting a guy and you can get around his friends and observe how he talks to and treats his friends, um that's a very important time for you to that I would pay attention to that. How he treats his friends and just other women, that's a big deal. So in this case, observing that saved, really saved, really saved me from getting involved. Yes, girl, exactly. Using the church as a manipulation tool because black women say they want a man who loves Jesus. Yeah, and I go to church. I'm a Christian. I go to church by myself. So I don't need like you don't need to, and the way my thing is I don't have a harsh requirement that a guy needs to attend church every Sunday because my main man who's white, he's a Christian, but he doesn't go to church every single Sunday, but he's a believer. So that's really it for me personally. As long as you announce that you're a believer or you believe in God, then, I'm willing to give things a shot and then go from there. And usually the type of guys that I meet, they know I go to church. So even though they didn't go to church before they met me, they're open to going to church with me as we're together because they know that that's something I like. So they'll participate and they generally don't have a problem with it because they're Christians themselves anyway. But yes, these guys, these guys who are involved in these good things like a church, or even if it's like some kind of club, whatever it is, they will use things like that to get next to you. But whole time they're trash, you know? Hi, all going to church for a first date is suspect. How would you get to know the person during the service? That would be a red flag to me. Yeah, exactly. I totally understand. That's why I was glad I was able to see him interact with his friends and make the conclusion off of that and just observe his reaction, how his behavior. I was able to figure it out on my own. So that's the thing too, is that personally, I believe as a woman, our time is very valuable. So I don't believe you need a month or 2 months, 3 months, a year, 2 years to figure out a guy, right? If you are observing him, his behaviors, I mean, your ears and eyes are on, you can easily figure a guy out in like 30 minutes. Guys don't really hide who they are, guy y'all. Like it's sometimes it's a lot of the times it's just women or just people around them who choose to not pay attention, who make excuses. But if you want to, you can pay attention and figure things out. I was able to come to all of those conclusions about him in less than an hour after the church service. Okay? For real. No, we didn't he didn't take me out on an actual date. We just met at church. Now, after the church, the everybody was going to go to brunch. Me, him, the black girl, his black guy friend, and another couple. But I chose not to go because I made plans with my white man. So I bailed to have brunch with my white guy, which I'm so glad I did because it was amazing. And I just didn't want to deal with any more foolishness for another 2 hours at brunch and be trapped. And yes, I was so happy I didn't go. Oh my god, I was so happy I didn't go eat brunch with them. I saw enough. I had five major red flags. I was like, "Yep, I'm good." The black girl was really cool, so we exchanged informations, and even his black guy friend was a cool guy too. He didn't seem to have an attitude issue, but just the fact that he hangs out with someone like that is also a red flag in my opinion. So I chose not to be with him. But as I as I said before, black women, a lot of black women, and I would say even including me, because I'm best man for the job, are still not even fully closed off to dating black men. And it's still a disappointment every time. Now, I don't believe in limiting myself to anything based on race, skin color at all, like I've said before. And it's okay if that's how you are. And it's also okay if you're like, I'm totally done. I have a specific type of man I'm going for, and that's it. Nothing wrong with anything. But the point is to be watchful and vet and to go where you're loved and celebrated. And you're never going to lose out in the process. Dark and Lovely says, don't immediately trust her. She can become a mammy for him and give you hell, unsure if she's sidelined into friend zone and wants more from him. Just trust your instincts if you pick up on anything. I thought that too, to be honest. A part of me was really looking at him like, why do you have me here when you have this girl here that's your friend? Like, why don't you just get with her? Why do you have me here? Like, and she's not an ugly black woman. She's actually very pretty. Like, I was quite like, why am I here? I mean, no, I mean, I think I'm popping. Of course, of course, I got want me around, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you have a black woman here that is your friend that you know. Why haven't you tried to give her a chance? Why did you friend zone her? I feel like that. I don't know. But just from the way he caught an attitude with her and went off on her, it made me like the other part of me made me think like, would she even want a guy like that? Like, I would be shocked if she wanted a guy that was snapping on her because she asked him to move something out of the way. Thing. So it was two sides. I thought this too. Maybe she wants him, but then I also thought, does she want a guy who will snap on her? Because I sure don't. And maybe that's why they are friends. She don't want to be with him because of his attitude, but she's okay with being friends with him. Yeah, he definitely gave me anger issue vibes, for sure, and controlling vibes too. Up to the point of us meeting at the church, he wanted to pick me up from my house. Now I live alone, and I had never met him before. We'd only talked briefly. He asked me 3 times in a 2 week span of us texting, should I pick you up? Should I pick you up? I was like, no, 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 thank you. No, no. Like, I was like, why did you want to pick me up so much? Like, why are you so, like, relax? And I'm so glad he didn't have me. I'm so glad. I mean, I wouldn't have done it anyway, but imagine if I did have to pick me up, I would be freaking stuck. I would have been stuck with that freak. Oh, I'm sorry. Just like, ah. Oh, I'm so happy I didn't get mixed up with him. Yes, girl, I did not tell him where I lived. I was shocked. I was like, why do you want to pick me up? You don't know me. We have not met. Are you crazy? I have my own car, okay? I have a good car. I got gas in it. I don't, I know a lot of girls will say I'll have, they'll be okay with the guy picking her up or paying for the Uber because maybe she doesn't have gas in her car. Financially, she can't get herself there. So the guy offers and she accepts it. But that ain't me, child. Okay, I'm okay. Like, okay, I have a good job. I got a good car. Just got my oil changed. I just spent over 200 something dollars doing stuff to my car, my oil and radiator and all this other crap. So I'm fine. I can meet you anywhere. I've never been in an accident. I ain't never got a ticket. I'm good. Like, I don't need you to pick me up from anywhere. I'm okay to drive. And I know we were going to brunch, so I'm not a crazy drinker either. I'm never going to be to the point, especially if I'm meeting somebody new, to the point where I'm going to get drunk and I can't drive myself home. That's never happening. That's never happening. Definitely control freak vibes. Like, why are you picking someone up that you don't know? So glad I dodged a bullet, y'all. Like, really, I did. Really, I did. And I knew a part of me knew something crazy was going to happen, and I would come back on my channel to tell y'all about it, to tell y'all what I've learned from still within my channel, within these conversations of Black women dating out, to come on here and tell y'all that I actually gave a Black man a chance to try to get with me, try to swindle me away. And I'm telling y'all, even right now, it still ain't working. Even after all these conversations, it still ain't there. There's no change. One of you guys asked me how old he is, and he's 29. He doesn't have any kids, and he's never been married either. 29 years old. I'm 28, but um, yeah, he didn't care about the age stuff or whatever. But I haven't heard from him since, actually. I really don't think he liked my vibe because I was very straightforward to the point. I told him, "Can you please take off your glasses?" I told all his friends that he hit me up first, and I guess he felt clowned about that, which is so weird and just really immature, but whatever. And I didn't go to brunch either. I bailed out of brunch. So I don't think he thinks that I'm worth his time, and that's okay with me. That's totally and completely okay with me. I don't take him seriously at all. I didn't, actually. I didn't at all. Yeah, he is from Atlanta. He is from Atlanta. 100%. And guess what else? He comes from a two-parent home too. So I always thought, oh, it's different if he comes from a two-parent home, but nope. The studies have even reported that. Wasn't there a study that came out? Didn't Ben Shapiro, the conservative dude that's always like talking, associated with Candace Owens, didn't he come out and do a video saying that Black girls that come from good homes compared to Black boys that come from good homes, somehow the Black girls are just much better and are perfectly fine and excel, but the Black boys that come from good homes are way behind? That's because Black men, no matter where they come from, they share the same culture. And when I say culture, I mean ideologies, attitudes, mindset, goals, value system, all of which have nothing to do with how much money you make or where you come from. You choose your moral standards and your value system, and that can be shaped based off of the type of information and the type of stuff you're into. So if Black men are collectively all into future, no matter where they come from, no matter what their household is, they're going to create a culture that surrounds, what Future is talking about in his music. And that was most definitely the Black guy I met on Sunday. He was, yes, using church as a manipulation tool, came from a two-parent home, 29 years old, but was in that church parking lot blasting Future music out of his car, windows down, seat leaned all the way back. It was just gross. I was like, are you kidding me? I've never wanted to jump out of a car window so bad in my life. I just wanted to escape. Oh, God. It was horrible. But I said all that to say, I wanted to tell you guys that that just happened to me the other day because it's just so relatable to a lot of black women that are consistently giving a black men a chance. And when there's better out there, it's very hard to deal with anything less. Just is what it is. And Serena Williams, she's no different when in terms of her dating choices and things like that. She's no different than a lot of black women. And it's not about legacy. Nothing's going to be lost if you pick and choose a man who is for you, down for you, loves you, wants to protect you, honor you, and is a provider. And he actually wants to do that for you. You're not losing out on anything with that. You're actually gaining a better legacy when you get with the man who sees you in that way and treats you that way. Okay? So, that's all I wanted to say for this video. I'm going to leave this live up. Comment down below what you ladies think. It's been over an hour and 30 minutes at this point. Really hope you ladies enjoyed this live. But comment down below your thoughts. I feel like I touched on a lot of stuff because I haven't went live in a while. It's been like 3 weeks. So yeah, I'll talk to you ladies in the next one, and have a great rest of your evening. Bye.